Hello DP community, and welcome to a new segment of Inner Space, where together we explore virtual interior spaces and work out realistic design ideas to bring them to life. For Inner Space 2, we're going to continue creating interiors for the Loknar-class starship. The specific instance is DP's USS Phobos, which I have living in the period roughly 2290 to 2310. It's the transition from 23rd to 24th century and the period between Captain Kirk's Starfleet and TNG Starfleet. The first Inner Space series concluded last month with a new viewing room replacement to the original starboard arboretum. I've been tweaking Kevin Riley's original work since 2018, but all DP updates to this model have targeted the peek-through spaces. These are the interiors that often afford extra relevant detail when the camera is outside the starship, for example, during a tight flyby shot. These include Kevin Riley's original officer's lounge located beneath the bridge section, DP's portside engineering lounge, which also replaced an arboretum. And yes, if you've been following the channel, the E-Lounge did get a recent renovation. I brought in some more pedestal tables, a large plant, and the bar was upgraded with a pair of replicators. The shuttle bay, DP's second major update to this starship model, and the aforementioned starboard viewing room. Of these four rooms, the shuttle bay is the only space that never existed when Kevin Riley released his original mesh. And this is why Inner Space 2 is kind of important. In this series, we are going inside an empty cavity and creating a new interior from scratch, rather than redesigning an existing interior. With the holiday season fast approaching, I'm tasking myself and the DP community to wrap the next episode in time for Christmas. We've got about a month, so let's get busy. For this build, I've arbitrarily selected the starboard section of these mystery decks. We'll turn to the portside counterpart for the next Inner Space series. Thus, right off the bat, all your ideas and plans should be premised on the fact that we have two of these sections to play with. So, if your preferred room isn't realized here, there will be another opportunity. Now, from this point on, things get complicated, but in a good way. First, our floor plan is potentially huge. You'll recall from Inner Space 1 that we were working within a space that was essentially 9 square meters, but this space begins with a generous floor width of 13 meters. Second, we are completely free to envision a space that is relatively narrow, or a 13 by 13 square, or something quite deep, and anything in between. If you're random bystander, I think you just found your bowling alley. Now take all these floor plan options and multiply, because we also have 3 height options for this interior build. Yep, there's nothing stopping you now from suggesting an expanded recreation deck like the one on the Enterprise. My understanding of the saucer design on these starships is that they comprise 2 decks of interiors along the edge. Now, it's true that the movies and television series established interiors that were often physically incompatible with the exterior models, but using our 1.75 meter reference human, we can see it's perfectly reasonable to imagine 2 decks here, each with 3 meter high ceilings. Switching back to the USS Phobos, the situation changes a bit because now we have this vertical extension to the standard saucer. As you can see, it's not quite enough for a 3rd deck. However, if we are willing to accept 2.5 meter decks, then we can rethink this space as functioning as an isolated 3rd deck at the rear of the saucer. The last issue I want to address is the windows. Don't let the existing windows constrain your imagination. We can remove windows, we can add windows, and we can resize windows. Remember that the Enterprise uses larger windows for its recreation deck. In fact, when I think about windows, I'm imagining some type of sky view window on top, And I wonder if this is where we should be thinking about an arboretum. Don't you think it's a much better space for tall trees and a walking path? If I were to build the ship's arboretum here, I think I would go with 2 decks. A completely different idea, one premised on a single deck construction, is a dedicated wing of VIP quarters. In this case, I'm imagining a corridor leading to a few suites for dignitaries and alien guests. We've been thinking about this new build at the DP Patreon site. Here's a list of some early ideas as we move forward to episode 2. An arboretum. A dining hall. 5-back lounge. This would be a recreation space like TNG's 10 Forward, but possibly multi-deck. A gymnasium. A recreation deck. VIP suites. Now it's your turn, as I don't want to bias your creativity too much. Give it some careful thought and share your ideas with the community. The one thing I do want to emphasize is to also consider the type of vessel we're working on. Frigate starships tend to be mission-based, not exploration-based, so this fact should be brought to bear when you're thinking about interior facilities. In the next episode, I'll announce the final build plans and begin blocking out the new interior. Wishing you a happy Thanksgiving in advance. Until next time, this is Antimatter.